Good morning, students. Today we are going to learn the second lesson of history. Topic: sources of history. First, let's see about sources. Source means origin from where we get information about history, like sources of water. For example, where do we get water? We get water from rain. So, rain is the source of water. Similarly, we get information about history is called sources of history. These sources help us to understand history. There are of three types: material sources, written sources, and oral sources. The artifacts, articles, monuments, or the remains are called material sources of history. The next one, see the picture, food grains. Food grains do not last long. They get infested and turn into powder. In ancient times, people used to roast the food grains before grinding them to store them for a long time. In the Stone Age, people have recorded events and expressed emotions in paintings on rocks. Later, man used symbols and signs to record thoughts. Thousands of years later, script was developed. Different forms of literature such as poems, plays, travelogues, and scientific writings developed. All these together form written source of history. These are the examples of written sources. Last one, oral sources. Ovies, folk songs, folk tales, and similar literature are passed on from generation to generation by word of mouth. The author of this unwritten literature is unknown. These are called oral sources. Next, sources of ancient Indian history. We have a large number of material, written, and oral sources of ancient Indian history. Material sources are artifacts and structural remains. The written sources include the stone inscriptions, copper plates, Harappan seals, Vedic literature, Jain and Buddhist religious texts, travelogues of the foreigners. Here, sources of ancient history, Indian history. Material sources, written sources, oral sources. See the slide and understand it. Now, you are well aware of this topic, so we are going to recall what are the examples of these three types of sources. Now, the next one is, what were the precautions to be taken while writing history? Now I think you have understood this topic clearly. We will meet again in the next class. Thank you, children. Bye.